I couldn't ram my own ship. I would have killed them.
This doesn't look like victory.
You can't buy your men.
We lift off on my order!
I'm the pilot of this ship. It's my job to make sure that we get back.
That is why you cannot win.
There are lots of developers working on COD games, but there are three main ones: Treyarch, Sledgehammer Games, and Infinity Ward, who made this game, Infinite Warfare. But Infinity Ward's last COD game, Ghosts, was a bit of a disappointment.
Yeah, it kind of just felt a little bit caught between hardware generation changes. It was a total mixed bag of design and visuals.
Also, it was not fun. But now with Infinite Warfare, they have a real chance to turn things around.
Yeah, and with the campaign at least, dare I say it, they have. This is a solid space sci-fi adventure set far into the future.
Welcome to Fleet Week!
Militant groups form a faction and make a surprise attack on Earth's defense force, the Solar Associated Treaty Organization.
Open fire!
Naturally, space war breaks out, and wouldn't you know it, you get promoted to captain, get your own ship, and then it's all up to you to save everything.
I speak now to the Retribution. We will continue to fight you inside and outside your fading world. Your cities will surrender, broken and weak. We will not fail.
First of all, the action in this campaign is great, isn't it?
Yeah, and some cool sci-fi ideas too, with the ship and the weapon technology.
Joel.
You hear that, Lieutenant? We're setting some sort of record.
Asteroid rotation's fluctuating.
Story-wise though, it is still quite tricky to follow, which is pretty standard for COD. But I will say that this is probably the least nonsensical plot yet.
Yeah, it's not quite nonsense.
My instincts, which are aligned indelibly with your own, are that we need to engage.
Why don't we, sir?
You play generic white man soldier guy who spends much of his time arguing about war stuff with his staff.
He's still down there, Salt! Turn the ship around!
It's gone, sir.
We left him, Corporal.
Nothing you could do, Captain.
I gave you a direct order!
Oh, he's such a hero, Hex. He fights on the ground with the troops.
We've got limited boots and guns. Lieutenant Salter and I will deploy with you.
This is a ground assault. Captain's place is on the bridge.
Not this captain. Not today.
Yes, he won't stay on the ship to plan out the war and organize things like a proper captain should. Seriously, sending your captain to the front line in the middle of a space war is a bad idea.
Yeah, he's a bad captain, but he does know a thing or two when it comes to combat. And there's plenty of cutscenes and storytelling to make this COD feel quite different as you're pulled through satisfying spaceship combat.
Splash! Got him!
Spectacular air and ship assaults.
Guard 2, hold this perimeter, engage anything that moves.
And beautifully chaotic planet-side warfare.
There's so much running about as ships explode and bases get stormed, and you're right, Hex, this does actually feel like a different kind of COD for a whole bunch of reasons. Gameplay-wise, you still get your slow-motion breaches and intense action sequences, but the combat style has shifted slightly. With Infinity Ward's last game, Ghosts, it kind of felt just like the enemies were in your way. I think we said they were actors slipping on banana peels. This time, you're also facing armored mechs, shielded robots, terrifying droids that fall apart spectacularly, and your standard goons, who often take more than a few shots to go down. The gameplay is a little tougher and more strategic.
Yeah, I mean, I think anything that can shake up the COD formula is a good thing. Although I did still have trouble identifying who was on my team, just like in Ghosts.
Yeah, me too. Wear a team hat or something.
That'd be funny. Just like a little cap.
Yeah. Earth guys, other guys, whoever they are.
Yeah, okay. The futuristic setting has allowed for a few other fun ideas, giving you the option to hack and take over enemy droids, turning life support on and off to mess up enemies, and our favourite, anti-grav grenades that lift enemies off their feet. There is even a robot companion. Is this the year for robot companions, Barjo?
Yeah, it really is turning into a great year for sci-fi and robot friends, isn't it?
I'm ready to get.
Full company, sir. I mean, they're idiots, but they can fight.
I also liked that there are barely any black screens or loading now. You spend a fair bit of time walking to your transport on your ship,
Come on. We'll take the scenic route.
talking about tactics and the war with your team along the way.
Boss! What do you call a fighter pilot in a rainstorm? Tell me! Dry as a bone.
Yeah, there are moments where you realize, like, obviously the next level's loading in this section, but I don't mind that. I really like this kind of design because it's a consecutive short timeline, kind of like how the Batman Arkham games always take place in just one night.
Yeah, and all the dialogue and chatter as you make your way between missions is solid army talk.
3 decades since we've had troops on Titan, sir.
Trial by fire.
Cooking that fuel tower will go a long way with hearts and minds.
On board or back home?
Both, sir.
In fact, I found all that surrounding dialogue much more interesting than anything in the cutscenes.
Yeah, me too. All these guys argue so much. One thing I really liked was how they balanced the visuals. This game looks great on console and on PC, which is good because the PC port of Ghosts was awful. But most of all, you can tell they've worked hard to balance resolution and texture quality to keep a smooth frame rate depending on the scale and size of the action. What I mean is, like, in some of the bigger action sequences, you can tell that maybe there's lower textures, but you don't care because that change in quality doesn't jolt you. And I love it how developers are experimenting more with this kind of thing lately.
Yeah, the mission structure has changed up a little bit as well. Towards the end of the 6-ish hour campaign, you can extend things further by playing a bunch of optional air combat and carrier assault missions, which give you perks that become very important on harder difficulties. They're fun missions, and you don't have to do them if you don't want to. But I was really impressed with the air combat. Look, as we all saw in the Battlefield 1 review, I'm not the best flyer in games, but I just found these controls to be so intuitive, it's almost impossible to get frustrated with them.
Yeah, they kind of nailed it. And you're right, the controls are so easy, but there's still enough business there, you know, like leading targets and changing weapons to keep things interesting. It's accessible in all the right ways.
And when you transition from ship to on-foot combat, thrilling.
Yeah, what a space adventure, Hex. It reminds me of all of my favorite sci-fi books, which are pretty much one alcoholic captain, you know, pulling the entire ship together to fight an oppressive force. I mean, he's not an alcoholic in this one, but it's kind of the same thing. That would make him more interesting, actually, if he was.
Sure, yeah.
Overall, this campaign is a nice shift on the COD design with a good rhythm and pace to the combat. Gives you time to breathe, with enough explosions in your face to get the heart pumping.
Yeah, there is actually a lot that's similar between this and Titanfall 2's excellent campaign. Robot friend,
Dauntless valor, Ethan.
Boundless terror, Captain.
wall running, jetpacking around in space.
I will never get sick of jetpacking around space. It is just so much fun. And also, Titanfall 2 was made by Respawn, which is made up of a bunch of Infinity Ward alumni. So much coincidence, Hex. But you know what? I think the timing of this game is actually going to be really bad for Titanfall 2.
Yeah, and I just think Titanfall 2 is hands down the better game.
Oh, yeah.
Like, without a doubt. But it just doesn't really have that brand power, so if people are choosing...
Yeah. Get Battlefield 1, I guess.
No, get Titanfall 2. We could just get them all.
Get them all. Get them all is probably the best thing to do. When we first played the multiplayer for this game, it felt a little bit similar to last year's COD. It has the same movement system with wall running and jump packs.
We've lost the lead. Enemy UAV.
Blops 3 specialists are now gone, but in their place are rigs. These are basically a class-based system which offers different perks, weapons, and styles of play.
Yeah, it is very similar. And to be honest, I was left asking myself, is that enough? In a season where we've seen the spectacular all-out war of Battlefield 1, while Titanfall, in my opinion, has done this kind of fast-paced wall-running gameplay better, and it has giant robots that rain from the sky, can more of the same really compete?
Yeah, they definitely are playing it safe, that's for sure, but I also wonder how much it matters to the COD community. I have seen quite a few complaints online about a few things, though. Whether it's about pay-to-win microtransactions, unfair lag, or frustrating spawn points. Well, people always complain about spawn points and lag, but I still notice some of those issues myself.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be the first to admit I'm a complete scrub when it comes to competing in COD online, so I'll take any excuse I can get. But yeah, I struggle to find the fun this time. The time to kill, which is how long it takes for you to get killed, seems quicker than ever, and it's just this constant stream of death for me. If I've played on your team, I know I've let you down, and I'm sorry.
The thing that bugged me the most was the nature of the pay-to-win microtransactions, which unlock powerful rare gun variants. That's a legitimate complaint. You can still unlock all that without paying, but the pace you earn salvage, which is what you use to unlock the random packs, is just too slow. If you're going to have that pay-to-win element in your game, you need to make it fair. Otherwise, people are just going to feel like they're being squeezed for cash.
I just feel like it was a bit uninspired, and I think it might be its own worst enemy this year. Because if you buy a more expensive version of this game, you'll get a full remaster of the incredible Modern Warfare campaign and multiplayer with it. I just think it's going to massively split the player base, and a lot of COD fans are just going to play the remaster.
Yeah, I guess time will tell which one players gravitate towards. It is a great remaster of COD 4 Modern Warfare, though. Great game. But one thing I was surprised to see is that there's also the ever-popular zombie mode here. Which I guess they're just bringing to all future CODs now.
I guess so. But again, there's nothing here that changes up the zombie formula, really. You and up to 3 others run through a level, boarding up windows, buying guns, and buying access to new areas. Took ages to find a game, though.
I did love the 80s Spaceland theme park, though, although the celebrities in this outing are pretty weak.
This is a Willard Wyler production. Willard Wyler? You're late.
I mean, Pee Wee Herman and Seth Green, is that all you got?
Hey, David Hasselhoff too.
He's no Jeff Goldblum Hex. Well, we should wrap this up. You know, overall, I'm a little frustrated by the lack of innovation in the multiplayer, but I think they did a great job with that single-player campaign, so I'm going to chalk this up to 3.5 stars.
Yeah, I mean, I would still say that Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 are the better choices right now, but this is a solid outing for COD, so I'm going to give it 3.5 as well.
Retribution, break engagement, fall back!